It's a beautiful night in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The regular season is winding down, and after a 6-match winless streak, Fort Lauderdale finds itself in desperate need of 3 points tonight against Lexington SC. Standing in their way, though, it's Sarah Cox, 60 saves this year. That's second most in USL Super League. Her counterpart on the other side, Cassette Morche, 5 clean sheets. That's tied for third in the league, and she'll hope for a performance like that tonight. And we welcome you to beautiful Lexington Stadium in Lexington, Kentucky. Tonight, Fort Lauderdale United tries to keep their playoff hopes alive against Lexington SC, hoping to play spoiler once again this week. Alongside Chelsea Kabarkis, I'm Josh Appel. Thanks so much for spending part of your Friday night with us. And Chelsea, as we take a look at the Super League table, Fort Lauderdale 6 points below the cut line. Carolina, the only team that's clinched a playoff spot. Lexington and DC, the two teams eliminated already.
Football is a beautiful but unpredictable game. A few months back, I never would have imagined a well-rounded team like Brooklyn FC would be sitting in 5th or Fort Lauderdale would be in 6th, fighting for a victory, because that's exactly what they need right now. They haven't won a match.
They haven't won a match in their last 6 outings. In fact, you got to go all the way back to March 15th, nearly 2 months ago, for the last time Fort Lauderdale produced 3 points.
Fort Lauderdale is a team that thrives on those counterattacks because they put in the work, or on those loose balls. Their forwards press relentlessly, battling for loose balls and keeping defenders on edge with their aggression. With the speed in both flanks, Hamid and Gordon, and a true number 9, Locklear, who excels at laying off passes for quick one-touch finishes, they're built for transition play. It also helps that their front line has real instinct for goal, but we need to see a little bit more build-up play from the middle.
One of the key pieces they've been missing over this 6-game stretch, it's Leveni Vaca. Fort Lauderdale's conceded 9 goals over the last 2 matches. Vaca, before her injury, was an anchor for this back line.
Vaca is the backbone for their back line, organizing the defense and starting build-up play. Most of their successful attacks start with long balls from the back, looking for one of the front 3, not progressive possession. And without Vaca, they don't have that.
And one of the players that Tyrone Mears is hoping steps up tonight in the attack, it's Jasmine Hamid, tied for 4th in USL Super League in the Golden Boot race. 9 goals, a couple of assists to go with them.
You said it, 9 goals and 2 assists. She's a gritty, hard-working forward who makes things happen. Most of her goals have come from hustle plays, rebounds, and determination. But if she can become a little less predictable and really tap into that explosiveness, she could take things to another level and become a major problem for the opponents.
Chelsea, on the other side, it's been a tough season for Lexington. Just in this spring season alone, just 1 victory in their 12 matches. But on a positive note, they've got 3 players all in contention in the Golden Playmaker race.
It's unfortunate that as a team, they're not doing well in the standings, but what's promising is that these players, Parson, Perez, and Moyer, each operate on a different line, which gives them outlets all over the pitch. And if I'm looking at the small tactical tweaks, I'd love to see Perez in more of a holding midfield role rather than a center back. She's got the vision and the passing range, so why don't you put her a little higher?
Well, we'll see how this one plays out tonight. The fans are filing their way into Lexington Stadium. Fort Lauderdale trying to keep their playoff hopes alive tonight as Lexington looks to play spoiler at home as the regular season winds down in USL Super League. Lineups and kick are coming up next.
I shouldn't be here. That's what the first 3 doctors said. That even if I made it to remission, I'd probably never climb again. But I did, because I wanted a different answer. And I found it at UK Healthcare. They took a drug nobody else had yet. 12 rounds of chemo and a 16-person team. But here I am, right where I was never supposed to be.
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the Bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building the future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story and leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Welcome back to Lexington, getting you ready for kick between Lexington SC and Fort Lauderdale United. Josh Appel, Chelsea Kabarkis with you as we take a look at our starting 11s for tonight. First for acting coach Ben Willis at Lexington.
They're coming out in a 3-4-3, and Perez is back. Expect Perez to send those long balls to break lines or play out of the back with Higgins and Moyer. More attack space, but also likes to cut in a lot of the time, so look for a center mid checking in. Wisniewski plays box to box. Expect a lot of movement from her. It's going to be key from Lexington is matching Fort Lauderdale's physicality.
And for Fort Lauderdale and Tyrone Mears, Gordon, Locklear, Hamid up top. There's Addie McCain in the midfield, still in the battle for the Golden Boot as well.
A 4-3-3. Fort Lauderdale side is dominant on the left side. Gordon will look to run box to box, work off of Locklear, get those crosses in. McCain does a great job distributing and has good field awareness, which makes her job just so much easier. Looks to get those balls behind to then slot one through or just take a shot. You'll see Locklear stay high to stretch the field because the team just really looks to get long.
Our referee tonight, Nabil Ben Salah. Assistant referees are Rachel Smith and Matthias Dolsky, and Race Williams is the fourth official. These games are crucial here at the end. Fort Lauderdale, after a long unbeaten streak, are now winless in their last 6. 6 points below the cut line. 3 points tonight against bottom of the table Lexington could go a long way, getting themselves back in position for a playoff spot. They're coming off of a 4-1 defeat against Brooklyn 13 days ago. The last 2 matches, both at home against Carolina and against Brooklyn. Brooklyn outscored 9-3. Gave up a season high in back-to-back matches. They hadn't given up more than 3 in a match before these last 2 weeks. And they only gave up 3 once this year. They are normally a very good defensive club, but not the last couple of matches. And when we asked Tyrone Mears about it, he said it's not necessarily about just our back line. It is from top to bottom. We just have not been up for it the last couple of weeks. Here's Locklear. 4 goals on the season. Tried to pop it over the top for Jasmine Hamid. And it comes all the way for Cox. Locklear giving a little pressure as we get a look at Ben Willis, acting head coach tonight. Third different head coach on the sideline this season for Lexington. It's been Sam Stockley as of late, as this one comes across looking for Knox. She settles it down now. Rajay to the outside, Shania Gordon. Gordon taking it wide, the cross. It sails over the bar and out of play for a goal kick. Tyrone Mears very candid with us this week. He wanted to see a much better effort tonight from his group. Just feels like there's a little bit missing. Knows they have the skill, but sometimes skill just not enough to get it done.
It's not enough. Individually, you can have great players, but it all comes down to how they work together as a team, working off of each other, combining plays. It's a team sport.
Play it down. Willis told us this week his message to his group over these final 2 games: play for each other, stick together like they have from day one, and don't take anything for granted, because you never know if this is the last professional match they'll play. And you know, it's easy for a team to check out when they've had the results they've had this year, but Ben Willis, Sam Stockley, they've kept this group together. They play for each other. And in that regard, they've been pleased.
Which Josh they have. I covered them against Tampa Bay, and I mean, as The score doesn't show it, but this Lexington side, they've been improving as the season went on. They played a really good match against Tampa Bay. It's just they really don't have the forwards to finish those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Willis said as much. He said, look, we created a lot of chances. It's the first time he feels they've been consistent in creating those chances over the course of a full 90 minutes. And again, sticking with that theme of they just fought together for a full 90. Of course, the result not what they wanted, but he's proud of the fight that his team showed. And now they're back home, just a couple of games left, including tonight, in their regular season. And they could have something to say about the playoff race. They have a chance to play spoiler tonight. Here's today's Lexington Sporting Club injury report brought to you by UK Healthcare. Weeks, Watson, Winter, and Sullivan all missing tonight for Lexington. Hamid able to dispossess Julie Mackin, and it's out for a throw-in to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale, after tonight, has 3 matches left. Pick up 6 points. In their mind, they probably feel as if they should against 2 teams bottom of the table. But Chelsea, as we saw last week, DC has been giving teams fits. They upset Dallas at home after falling behind 2-0 as Cox is able to snare this one. So no guarantees in this league. It's very competitive no matter what the records are.
The game of football is very unpredictable. I mean, we saw DC come in and get a score on the scoreboard. And they've been doing well. They've been showing their identity as a team. This league is new, so teams don't have an identity yet. They're starting to find it.
Flicked forward, but well, out of the reach of Kate Doyle. And Cassette Morche making her 19th start tonight. How's that for Fort Lauderdale? Shania Gordon. Hansbrough went down. Bill Bensala says, hang on a sec. Wait for me to give the okay. It's so perplexing because, you know, despite the fact that Fort Lauderdale hasn't won in their last 6, they've got 3 draws over that time span as Parsons tries to fire one on, and it deflects out for a corner kick. Today's Lexington SC corner kicks are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. They went 9 unbeaten before this 6-game winless streak.
Today's corner kicks are presented.
The consistency has not been there to close out the season that we talked about, the absence of Leveni Vaca and how that's contributed a bit towards this slide here at the end. But there is certainly enough talent on this group where you see a 6-match winless drought right at the end of the season makes you scratch your head a bit. Corner comes into the mixer. The header towards goal. Took a deflection and now fired. And out for a goal kick. That was Natalie Higgins, who tonight is making her first start in her 4th game. Shot goes out for a goal kick. It was a good ball into the area.
What a good ball into the area. If someone would have just ran onto it a little quicker, it would have been a goal.
How difficult is it in that sea of bodies to make that play?
It's difficult to just stand there and head a ball in. It's better to head a ball in momentum, so you want to run onto it.
Lexington applying some pressure. They come up with the takeaway. Anna White is fouled. Free kick coming. Addie McCain draws the whistle. She's unhappy with it. But Nabil Bensala makes the call. Free kick coming for Lexington.
These are areas on the field that you don't want to get a foul against because they can be very dangerous.
Perez stands over this. An early opportunity for Lexington. And this is an area of strength for Perez. 3 of her assists this season have come on set pieces. Floated towards the back post. It's a good ball back towards the left post. not sure if Lexington played themselves out of a goal there. Looked like Shea Moyer had an easy header in, and then Wisniewski got in the way of it.
So close, and this is why Perez has those assists. If Moyer would have just held her run a little bit, maybe half a second, she would have gotten that in the back of the net.
It's unfortunate, the miscommunication there between her and Wisniewski. As this comes wide for Parsons. She's still looking for her first goal contribution in the spring. Went down and taken away by McNeil. Given right back. Fort Lauderdale plays a very physical style, and they're able to get the takeaway here. Good push early on in the first 10 minutes from Lexington.
A lot of the time you're going to realize that Fort Lauderdale is going to look to go short and long. They're going to look for their outside mids, outside forwards, or their center forward to just take that one touch, lay it back to then go long again. And that's it.
Flicked up into the air. Locklear trying to keep it alive, and she does. Knox, top of the 18, gets it back. Knox steps into it and sends it wide. Hamid set her up. What do you think about the sense of urgency so far from Fort Lauderdale in the first 10 minutes?
Fort Lauderdale has been a bit patient. They haven't attacked as much as I would like to see them attack. Lexington has really been on their half. You see the overlapping runs. You see them checking in for each other and working for each other. Fort Lauderdale is just a team of individuals right now. They need to find the way to work together.
Amir saying we cannot have any passengers today. This is a make or break game for our season. Thinks they can exploit Lexington's high line. Lexington's 4 wins this season has come against this Fort Lauderdale side. Given away off the throw. Locklear puts on the brakes. Just not able to connect. Just feels like plays like that are a microcosm of what's been going wrong for Fort Lauderdale over this winless stretch.
Those are the plays that you really want to get right, those short passes. That's how you gain confidence and rhythm slowly as the game progresses.
And that was a big part of Leveni Vaca's game that they're missing. The top players in the league in passes completed still, even though she's missed a handful.
I mean, she's a player that really knows her role on the team, and she's able to connect passes to go long. And that's exactly what they're missing in that back line.
Lexington trying to build up again. Parsons has some trouble with it. And on the clear, she's able to block it. Now, Fort Lauderdale able to get rid of it. Again, these are just not difficult passes for Fort Lauderdale, but they're making them seem a lot more difficult.
Fort Lauderdale is having a hard time connecting these passes, and it really just comes down to the confidence of the players individually.
Again, this is a group that was comfortably in a playoff spot. They were rolling in this spring season. Let's see if they can turn this into an opportunity.
It might also come down to fatigue at this point of the season. This is when bodies start breaking down and players don't get what they want from their bodies.
Yep. Certainly possible, as Annie McCain started her run a bit too early. She was offside. LSC fans, visit lexsporting.com to get your latest Lexington SC news, merchandise, and discounted ticket offers. That's lexsporting.com. Cox puts it in the air. Fort Lauderdale the first to get to it. Shea, who's been very solid in goal this season, despite the results of the last two. Asked Tyrone Mears this week. Get to that in a moment, as Hamid has space down that left wing. Hamid cuts it back. It's McCain. Annie McCain got closed down on. Now Gordon. Trying for the give and go. Good hustle by Gordon to win it back. Taylor Smith, she stepped up. That's Rajay outside for Gordon again. Hannah White watching her. Rajay. Couldn't connect on the pass back, Felicia Knox.
It deserves some credit because the idea is there. It's just I'm seeing a tired Fort Lauderdale team. I really wonder if maybe there's too many practices, their eating has changed, something has changed that we're not seeing the same team that we were seeing in the beginning of the season.
Good news for them as they have a chance to right the ship. Opportunities over the next 2 weeks, or next 2 games, I should say, against this Lexington side and DC. 2 teams eliminated from postseason contention to pick up 6 points, and at this rate, they essentially need all of them. They can't really afford a draw over these next 2.
But they haven't won in their last 5 matches. So something, aside from Vaca, something is happening on the attacking side that they're just not finding the back of the net and finding those victories.
Tyrone Mears, as I said earlier, just he feels there's something missing, some element of this group that they haven't been able to tap into over this stretch. And I asked him, you know, has the morale of the group changed at all during the winless stretch? He goes, look, the players are definitely feeling it. You can look at the table and you can see the positives or negatives in it. But all they can focus on, and all they have to focus on, is the next game. And his message has been, look, the talent that's in this room is plenty good enough. And they should be higher than where they are. But that work rate and the intensity, it has to kick up a notch over these final handful of games.
Now we're starting to see Fort Lauderdale connect the passes, and this is a great way for a team to build the confidence and build the rhythm of the game by just connecting those simple 5-yard passes.
Locklear keeps that one in along the touchline. Looking for Hamid. Back for Locklear. Towards goal, but missed everything, and it's out for a goal kick.
The idea was there by Locklear attacking the space. As we see her right here, she's driving into that space and she's opening her body to try to ask her teammates, hey, move. Hamid, that one touch was great, but if she would have played it a little bit more to her right, it would have made Locklear's life a lot easier to strike that ball.
You look at these last 2 weeks and you think, all right, 9 goals conceded. Something's got to be going wrong on the defensive side. And of course it has, but Tyrone Mears spent the last couple of weeks while they've been off trying to point out things that they cannot accept in the way they play. Locklear tried to cross one in. She gets it back off the deflection. That shot is blocked. She's on it again. Locklear towards goal. Big save by Cox, and then it trickles in. And Fort Lauderdale gets a much-needed goal away. Off and running here in the first 20 minutes, 1-0.
And the game is alive again. These are the things that Fort Lauderdale does. They attack the space, they look for those loose balls. Locklear did such a great job by staying tuned with the play, not just turning her back. She attacked the line, looked for Hamid. And this is what those forwards do on the Fort Lauderdale side. They have grit in the 6. They're gonna look for the rebounds. They're gonna look for those loose balls because they cannot forgive a mistake.
So Hamid was the last Fort Lauderdale player to touch, but it trickled in off of JJ Albiu. And that is our first goal of the match. So it is going to go down as an own goal here in the 17th minute. Fort Lauderdale will take them any way they can get them. And I was just starting to say that for Tyrone Mears, their issue hasn't necessarily been defense in the grand scheme. It's been being more ruthless in front of goal. And right there, they showed a lot of determination, not giving up on the initial shot, not giving up on the second shot either. As Parsons Sends one towards goal as Lexington tries to answer. Fort Lauderdale had it defended well. Fort Lauderdale protect this 1-0 lead and add on to it. Talked about Jasmine Hamid in the open. And while she doesn't get credit with her 10th of the year, still sitting on 9. She was certainly right in the thick of that. Give credit to Kiara Locklear as well. Shania Gordon. Gordon's been active in these first 20 minutes. Rajay, Felicia Knox. Is this onside? Flag stays down. Another chance for Fort Lauderdale. Back heel for McCain with a great recovery by Lexington.
What a brilliant look by Knox to connect with Hamid, I'm sorry. Those are those little plays that are practiced during training sessions. And you can tell the connection between teammates.
Fort Lauderdale has been solid away from home this season. +2 in goal differential, 4 wins, 3 draws. There are 11 road matches. Their last 2 were played at home. So Chuck can just focus on only this game and what was in front of them.
On only this game, and believe it or not, that's actually harder to be on the road and play away from home. But they might have needed some team bonding.
Hamid wins it. This is Locklear, but flag was up for offside. Cheers to local beer. West 6th Brewing is proud to be the official craft beer of Lexington Sporting Club. Find their locally crafted beers all around the state of Kentucky, from the flagship West 6th IPA to Sixer Light Lager. There's something for everyone. Head to west6th.com to visit one of their dynamic tap rooms and learn more about Stadium Ale, the official craft beer of Lexington SC. Chappelle, Chelsea Kabarkis with you from Lexington. Fort Lauderdale hoping to earn their first victory since March 15th and keep their playoff hopes alive. 1-0 on the own goal by Lexington just 5 minutes ago. Really, since the first 10 minutes, it's been all Fort Lauderdale. And they're building up again. Out in front for Knox, and a big save. Robbed by Sarah Cox. Cox has faced more shots than anybody in the league this year.
The plays are there. I mean, you see Rajay going into space, looking at that top 6, and Lexington is leaving that 6 open for players to just walk in and tap that ball, and that's exactly what Knox is capitalizing on. But these are the chances that they need to finish. Maybe angle your body a little bit more to the right. Open up your body so that ball can just go to a corner.
Is that what you'd say that Tyrone Mears is referring to when he says he wants to see his team be more ruthless in front of goal?
Exactly. They need to be more ruthless. You have to be hungry in front of goal.
So far, so good in that regard.
But to me, this Fort Lauderdale side, it's what I mentioned before. They look tired.
Parsons fires. Parsons forces a save to be made by Morshea. And the follow-up from Higgins never got all the way through. Parsons been active in the early going here. Off the deflection. Sent forward for Locklear. Locklear with room. Heavy touch to herself. Kiara Locklear on her right foot. Pocket saved by Cox.
Locklear against 3 defenders on her own. If she would have just been a little bit more patient, drag it more to her right, but you can see getting that power behind the ball has been the issue, and it's really just due to tired legs.
Not for Sarah Cox, this could already be a 3-0 or even 4-0 game in the first 25 minutes. Hannah White tracks it down, and then Gordon put it over the end line for a corner kick. Lexington SC corner kicks are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union.
That's a Commonwealth Credit Union corner kick.
Madison Perez will go over to take this. Twice on set pieces tonight. She's delivered quality service in. She hasn't been able to be finished. Equalizer. Perez will switch sides. Perez puts it in play. And that's over the goal. And nobody able to make a play on it. Fans, visit lexsporting.com to shop at the Lexington SC Team Store, your one-stop destination for all the latest LSC gear and official merchandise. From kits to scarves and hats, we've got everything you need to show off your club pride. That's lexsporting.com.
To go long right away. Look for a forward, a center forward. Look for Locklear to go ahead and lay off those balls.
Well, it's no surprise, given that Tyrone Mears told us that they're going to try and exploit that. Lexington is susceptible to getting beat over the top. Foul given there. Perez brought Knox to the ground with that challenge.
A good tackle by Perez. She was not in position, so she knew that her back line was missing another defender.
Free kick coming from around midfield. Addie McCain ready to put it in play. Third this year, September. Scored a hat trick. Second in league history, first for Fort Lauderdale. Feels like ages ago back in late September.
But also, time goes by fast.
Absolutely. Hard to believe we're already at the point in the season. A few games left. Kane still battling for that golden boot. This handball goes against Fort Lauderdale. We mentioned earlier some of the struggles of stringing passes together by this Fort Lauderdale side tonight. This is a team that leads the league in pass accuracy, third in passes. Very uncharacteristic, at least tonight, early on. They've gotten a little bit better since then.
They've gotten better. They're slowly building the rhythm as the game goes on, connecting those 5-yard, 10-yard passes.
Perez on the free kick. Parsons trying to cross. It's cleared away. Fort Lauderdale survived that. Sent back towards goal again. And O'Shea will let that go over ahead and out for a goal kick. Lexington SC fans, be sure to join us this Sunday, May 18th at 7 p.m. at LSC Stadium to support our men's team as they take on FC Tulsa. It's Family Fun Day, and we'll be celebrating tailgating festivities as well as a pre-match concert presented by the Burl. So be sure to arrive early. Purchase tickets today at lexsporting.com.
Lexington is getting to the final third of the field, but they're having issues connecting with a center forward, and that's what they haven't had this entire season, a center forward to go ahead and take that control on that place of the field.
That ball hit referee Ben Sala, so he'll give Fort Lauderdale an opportunity to restart it from where he made contact with it. 30 minutes into this first half. The own goal. Tally so far, as you see final third entries at the top of your screen, even at this point, but Fort Lauderdale gives it away. Higgins. It's turned back for Perez.
Good ball movement by Lexington. It's just they're becoming a bit predictable by not rotating in the middle. You know where every player is going to go when they're checking for a ball. If they can rotate or possibly interchange positions, they can lose the opponent, and that's how they create spaces.
Now BU trying to find Parsons. Parsons flicks it. Finds Hannah White. Gordon watching her. Nice move by White. To her left foot, trying to get back to her right, and she commits the foul as Gordon stayed with her.
Good battle by Gordon, staying on her feet, being patient. White trying to be cheeky with the ball. She did a little bit too much. That's when, if you already took the defender, just take that space. That's where she lacked. Good job on Gordon's end by reacting quickly and keeping White in front of her.
Tyrone Mears will be happy with the effort so far in this first half. But he thought last week, or 2 weeks ago I should say, in the Brooklyn match, they controlled the first 45 minutes. And then about 5 minutes in the second half, everything flipped on its head. He said, I don't think Brooklyn made 3 consecutive passes at all in the first half. This team tries to get its confidence, tries to get its feeling back. It feels the 4 goals they conceded were all off their own mistakes against Brooklyn.
These are the moments, if you look closely at the game, these are the moments that Lexington needs to be rotating in the middle. The only player that we really see moving is Moyer and checking for that ball and looking for those spaces. But we need a little bit more from Higgins, from Parsons, from Wisniewski, maybe from the other end of the field.
And I wonder if maybe the slow start for Fort Lauderdale tonight, just a product of having the layoff, 13 days coming on the road, but they have found their footing. Outside of a threat here or there, you can see from the possession, Fort Lauderdale in firm control of the pace, and they're dictating what goes on. Get the latest Lexington SC news right at your fingertips by downloading the official mobile app powered by Fan 360. Get access to exclusive content while shopping for season tickets and LSC gear, all in the Lexington SC Fan app.
Josh, the point that you were talking before, I mean, being off for such a long time, almost a week and a half or 11 days, that really breaks the dynamic of a team. As much as your team is resting, yes, that's great for them to rest, but it breaks up that dynamic, that connection.
You know, I do wonder, and Chelsea, maybe you can speak to this as a former player. You lose 5-2 in one match against Carolina. You're thinking, all right, we want to get back out there, and we want to bounce back and flush that one. But then the bounce back performance is a 4-1 loss to Brooklyn. And now you have 13 days to think about it. As a player, after a stretch of those 2 games like that, would you rather the third chance come right after, or do you think this long layoff maybe benefits them to kind of take a break and reevaluate things?
I would rather for the chance to come right after, because you're still hot, you're still thinking about the game, and you have something to prove. When you wait so long and there isn't a game in between, 11 days, 13 days, the team somewhat becomes sluggish. As much as you don't think that, they do. The game becomes a little bit sloppier. They're not going to be able to connect passes. It's a game rhythm. Game rhythm is very different from practice rhythm. And right now, they're kind of getting the Knicks knacks out the first 30 minutes of the game, and that's exactly what we're seeing with this Fort Lauderdale side. They couldn't connect 5-yard passes.
Clean that up a little bit here. About 10 minutes to go in this first half. In the 17th minute, an own goal benefited Fort Lauderdale. Shot from Hamid, deflected off of Lexington and by Sarah Cox. Unfortunately for Cox, she had just made a brilliant save right before that. Rajay trying to play it forward. Positioning by Lexington. That pass too far, and Gordon finds McCain. Now Felicia Knox. Wide for Locklear, who's been fantastic in this first half.
Locklear has been very dynamic off the ball. She drags out. She comes into that center position.
Nearly produced an opportunity there for Fort Lauderdale, but Cox able to come out and grab it. Lexington, meanwhile, they have not scored in back-to-back games. They have just 2 goals scored in their last 5. Since their 2-1 win at DC on March 9th. They've been shut out 5 different times. It goes back to your point earlier, they just have not had that finishing in the final third, especially here in the second half of the season. They've given up at least 3 in all but 1 match since that win against DC. It was a 1-1 draw at Brooklyn on the 19th.
You see that this Fort Lauderdale side, they have shifted to a back 3, really, with Rajay going into that midfield position, adding into the midfield as a holding mid, giving them that option to get out.
Locklear, she's onside. Kiara Locklear towards goal, and Cox robs her. If not for Sarah Cox, Fort Lauderdale will be leading by 4, maybe 5 in this first half.
These are the moments that Locklear needs to capitalize on. She's 1v1 with the goalkeeper, already past the defenders. Just slot one in, open up your body, have confidence behind the ball, and strike it. As a forward, you need to capitalize on these moments, and that's exactly what the coach had mentioned in the call.
And he said he wants to seem to be more lethal out in front, more ruthless, bury their chances. They have had the majority of the chances in this half, but only 1 goal to show for it. It was an own goal. That's an example of what he was also telling us. He thinks that Lexington vulnerable to get beat over the top. Locklear able to do just that.
If you watch closely, you just see that Lexington, even on the throwings, there's no movement off the ball. They were looking a bit more active in the beginning of the half, and now they're tiring down.
It's a Commonwealth Credit Union.
They will have a chance at a corner here, as all Parsons was in the area, but only White Kit's able to get to it. Now it's flicked towards goal. A little bit of an in-between spot. Gordon able to get it over the end line and out of harm's way, but it is another Lexington corner. They've had a good number of corners in this first half.
A good clearance by Gordon. Those balls just bouncing in between the goalkeeper and your back line are the most dangerous balls, because all you really need is just a push or a tap for the ball to just get in.
It's a Commonwealth Credit Union corner kick.
It's the 5th corner of the match for Lexington. Fort Lauderdale has not had a corner yet. Again, this is the 5th for Lexington. Towards the front post this time. It's headed just wide by Lexington and out for a goal kick.
What a spectacular service into the box by Perez, putting her body over the ball to just kind of just get that ball in with pace so that someone just has to put a body on it.
Enter the Prinks Tires Tailgate Kit sweepstakes for a chance to win a prize pack worth over $3,000. Scan the QR code on your screen now and enter today. Final few minutes of this first half. Fort Lauderdale trying to win for the first time since March 15th. Lexington trying to play spoiler again. Kiara Locklear in her strong start. She just had that chance a moment ago. She's fired 4 shots already tonight. That's more than anybody on the pitch for either side. It's a foul on.
And it
Fort
shows
Lauderdale,
because she's been able to separate herself from defenders, being mobile on that field, getting out wide, getting in that center mid position as well, that center forward. She's just overlapping and trying to find the ball. She wants the ball at her feet, and you can see how hungry she is to get a goal.
Perez has been busy on these free kicks tonight. This one from quite a ways away. It's put into a dangerous spot. Morshea, though, aggressive, able to grab it out of the air. Morshea has not been tested nearly as often as her counterpart on the other end. Felicia Knox has it taken away by Livy Moore. And now Perez for Sarah Cox. Moore flex off of Fort Lauderdale and out for a Lexington throw. Second ball made its way onto the pitch. Now we're ready to go with the throw in for Lexington. Rajay with a tough collision there with Knox. Gets it started. Rajay back for Gordon. Gordon swings it in, headed away by Lexington. Race for it is on. Back towards the area. Hamid went down, and it's Lexington away with it. Parsons leaves it out wide. Here comes Lexington. The cross deflects, cleared by Cameron Brooks. Now Locklear in a run for it. Locklear's had a strong first half. Fort Lauderdale add right before the end of the half. That's a miscommunication there with Addie McCain. Select is the official matchball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. We'll have 1 minute of added time in this first half.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 1 minute added in the first half.
Perez. Knox the only one there for Fort Lauderdale. Headed down. And one by Lexington. Higgins has it taken away. Taylor Smith. Reset. Hansbrough. Now Brooks. Long long over the top. Locklear the closest one there, but Perez puts it down for her keeper, Sarah Cox.
Good judgment by Perez. It shows her experience by knowing to play that.
Whistle for halftime, and there it is from Nabil Ben Salah. 1-0 after 45 minutes in favor of Fort Lauderdale. Wasn't the prettiest goal, Chelsea, but an own goal counts all the same.
I mean, it's a balanced match. Both teams are getting into that final third of the field, but not having luck connecting with their forwards. Fort Lauderdale has been a bit better getting the ball to Locklear, but she needs help. She needs to combine with her midfielders. Lexington shouldn't be as predictable. They should come out with a more rotating midfield, and it'll make their jobs a lot easier.
A week ago, Fort Lauderdale and Tyrone Mears really liked their first 45 minutes. Can they put together a full 90 tonight and earn the win on the road? As we are now joined by Kiara Locklear here in Lexington. Kiara, your side leading 1-0 at the half. What did you like about your team's first half performance?
I think something that I've seen that I really like is that we've just been battling. And we've been chasing down every ball and defending every ball. And it's just an intensity that I think we need to bring into the second half.
Locklear, you've been doing really good combining, looking for those balls behind, but what needs to be better?
I mean, I think just composure. I mean, myself, I've had 2 chances and haven't put them in the back of the net. So I think that's what it comes down to, is in front of the net, just being composed and putting the ball in the back of the net.
Kiara, thanks for your time. Go catch your breath. Good luck in the second half. Appreciate you spending some time with us. It's 1-0 to Fort Lauderdale at the half over Lexington. Fort Lauderdale battling for their playoff lives, and they put together a full 90. We'll have halftime highlights and more coming up here from Lexington and moments. It's Fort Lauderdale 1, Lexington 0 at the half.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Launches this ball and finds the winner. Oh, what a play! It's a bending effort.
Caitlin Clark, amazing at assists. Gainbridge, the ultimate assist for your savings. But ever since they teamed up, she's taken assisting to a whole new level. Caitlin Clark, graded assists. Gainbridge, graded assists for your savings.
Success isn't a game of chance. It's about making the right moves. Just like Lexington Sporting Club, Commonwealth Credit Union aims to win by helping you defend your goals and keeping your money on the attack. As the official credit union of Lexington Sporting Club, we're empowering success on the field and in your finances with smarter banking options and unbeatable service. Are you ready to take the lead? Then get the home field advantage for your finances, only with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
We live with you, build with you, grow up with you, and dream with you. At Central Bank, we belong to the same communities you do. You're our neighbors, friends, and business partners. And through the relationships we build with you every day, we consistently serve you better. That's what highly personal banking is all about. We start with you.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Big one tomorrow in Super League action, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's Carolina Ascent and Tampa Bay Sun with massive playoff implications. Carolina clinches the Players' Shield and secures the #1 seed in the playoffs along with home field advantage if they win or draw tomorrow against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay can clinch a playoff spot with a win or a Lexington win tonight and a draw tomorrow. Other notes from around USL Super League. How about Amina Ekic? She recorded her third brace of the season. Spokane's 2-1 win over DC on Tuesday night. DC had won back-to-back games going into that match. And we know that well because in the previous matchup, DC and Dallas, it was Celia Strawn, the 17-year-old, the youngest goal scorer in the league, who netted her 4th goal of the season in that match. USL Super League fans, every Wednesday you can listen to USL Super League Game Week. It's a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season long on the Sirius XM app.
One coach announces her departure while Lexington announces the arrival of a pro girls academy team in Marion. We're excited because the 2025-2026 schedule is here. We break it all down.
It'll be interesting to see how teams adapt to the condensed schedule in year 2, but don't go anywhere. We dive deep with Fort Lauderdale's Cazette Morche about all things game day routine, including how she taught herself how to braid her own hair.
It's 1-0 to Fort Lauderdale on an own goal in the 17th minute at the half. Back with more in Lexington after this.
USL Super League regular season home finale is Saturday, May 31st against DC Power at 7 p.m. Cheer on your hometown team as they close out the inaugural Super League season. Secure your seats now at lexsporting.com/tickets and be part of the energy, the passion, and the pride of Lexington SC.
Welcome back to Lexington as we take a look at our first half highlights. 1-0 to Fort Lauderdale at the half, but early on, Chelsea, Lexington had the best chance.
A beautiful setup by Perez. Moyer, if she would have just held her run by half a second, she would have hit the ball with momentum, which makes it a lot harder to defend.
And then in the 17th minute, how about this determination from Locklear? First shot block, second shot block. She picks it up, puts it across. Hamid, first shot denied by Cox, and the own goal.
And this is the best identification for Fort Lauderdale. They wait for those loose balls, and Locklear was relentless in that 18. She waited, and then she passed the ball to Hamid, and that's what they just wait, those loose balls in the 6.
And in the 38th minute, Locklear sprung ahead of the pack. She led the first half, 4 shots, 2 on target. Probably wants this one back, a great chance to expand the lead.
A good run. The thought was there by Locklear, but the execution needs to be better, have composure off the ball.
How about these first half numbers? 17 shot attempts for Fort Lauderdale, 7 for Lexington. Lexington has put 6 of those 7 shots on target. The possession numbers at 1 point, 65-35 in favor of Fort Lauderdale, about even after one half.
Lexington is trying to hold possession of the game, but they just can't find that final third, that connection with their forwards. The Fort Lauderdale side, they're there, they're looking for those spots. Locklear is being relentless off her line, trying to find those spaces, but just hasn't had luck. She needs to have composure off the ball.
So we will have second half action from Lexington after this. Get those balloon animals in order. 1-0 to Fort Lauderdale at the half. One nothing from Lexington as we get ready to start half number 2. Fort Lauderdale 6 points below the cut line, trying to trim it down to 3 and hang on to this lead in the second half. Josh Appel, Chelsea Kabarkis with you as we get ready for the second half. Chelsea, we talked about it right at the end of the first half. Tyrone Mears didn't think his team played well in the second half against Brooklyn. Obviously the scoreline would reflect that. How can they turn the tables and play a complete 90 here today?
They need to play better. They need to work for each other off the ball. They need to combine, do the little small details that they haven't been able to do. And it needs to be better. Individually, they're great. They're great as individuals, but football is a team sport. So you need to learn how to play off of each other. Become dangerous.
Job against Lexington. Josh Appel, Chelsea Kabarkis with you. Thanks for being with us on this Friday night. Lexington in the green, Fort Lauderdale in the white. Hamid with open space right off the jump. Hamid cuts it back and earns the corner. First of the match for Fort Lauderdale. No subs for either team to begin the second half. Tyrone Mears and Ben Willis sticking with what got them through the first 45 minutes.
It's great that Hamid got them that corner, but I would have really loved to see her possibly just try to cross with her left.
So first opportunity on a corner tonight. An in-swinger on its way and over everybody's head. Here comes Lexington.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Doyle already was attacking, and she didn't have anyone to pass it to. She had to bring it back to her half so that she can find a midfielder. This comes from the back line. Perez, she needs to step up her team faster so that Doyle can have those options.
Mackin to throw in. The own goal in the 17th minute. Deflected off of JJ Albiu on the shot from Jasmine Hamid. No score to this point, but not for a lack of opportunity for Fort Lauderdale. Brooks. Morshea, who was not tested very often in the first half. She was up to the task. Lauderdale entered tonight 6 points below the cut line. Winless in their last 6 matches, 0-3-3. Trying to find Locklear, who was excellent in the first 45 minutes. Sent Morshea hoping to earn another clean sheet tonight in her 19th start. Still a long way to go, though.
Which is something that they haven't had in quite some time.
Fort Lauderdale's last clean sheet came on March 22nd, a 0-0 draw against Spokane. As we take one more look, as foul.
Her footwork to just get out of those quick little spaces. Very smart move by throwing herself.
Locklear is offside. The flag came up. Locklear, we spoke to her at the half. She was overall pleased with her play, but knows that she had a couple of opportunities to finish off chances.
And I think that's what's going to be key. She said that she needs to have composure in front of the goal. And that's what really sets those great forwards apart from the average ones. And she was able to recognize that she needs to be better with her composure so that she can get that ball in the back of the net.
Addie McCain puts it out wide, looking for Felicia Knox, and she's unable to keep it in. How can Fort Lauderdale get Addie McCain more involved tonight?
Addie McCain just needs to move off the ball a little bit more and make herself open. It's been very static for them in the midfield. If you really watch Fort Lauderdale closely, whenever they get the ball, the back line, they kind of just overpass the midfield. They go long. They look to play those long balls right away. And it makes me question, is it because they don't trust their midfielders, or is it just the identity that they want to play? But to me, McCain is really good in the midfield, holding that ball and being able to distribute.
She's also been able to find the back of the net quite often this year. As Locklear ends up with it. There's McCain with room in the middle. Can Locklear find her? Tried to, and it was cleared away by Perez.
Locklear has been great in reading the plays and knowing when a ball is going to bounce over a defender's head or when she needs to step into those spaces. She's been doing brilliant this game.
Kane was calling for that ball for a while as this comes over the top and lands all the way with Sarah Cox. Mackin. Throw in here for Lexington. Be sure to visit lexsporting.com to get your latest Lexington SC merchandise and discounted ticket offers. That's lexsporting.com.
Another player that's been really mobile for the Fort Lauderdale side is Rajay. She's been in the midfield. Now she's attacking. She has stepped a little bit higher in this second half. Before in the first half, she was holding. She was playing more as a 6 right in front of that defensive line. But now you see her playing more as that 8, box to box.
Fort Lauderdale knows they have everything still in their control. It all starts with earning the 3 points tonight with 4 games left to play. There's not a lot of margin for error. The worst possible time to go on a slide. Look at Mackin weaving her way through, trying to find Doyle, and a foul given. And a good opportunity here on a free kick for Lexington to try and maybe find the equalizer.
It's a dangerous spot to get.
Over the top.
What a great service by Perez and that look by Perez. This is when the Lexington side, Moyer needs to be a little smarter, and her awareness of the players around her. She doesn't have anyone. Put the ball down, control it, take a touch, and strike it.
Number 18, Natalie Higgins.
So Natalie Higgins comes off her first start and her 4th game of the season. And Hannah Richardson enters for her in the midfield. Hamid finally wins it for Fort Lauderdale. Hamid took the shot, but deflected for the own goal, puts it over the top. It's a
happen when you start running at this back line.
McCain's on side again, or was she? The flag was up.
She was definitely off. But this is the great things happen when you start getting out of position. Drift in. Hamid drifted that ball in to go ahead and give that diagonal ball to McCain, and McCain placed that ball in the 6th. If they would have just held their run a little bit longer, it would have been great. But overall, great play. Great combination.
Just feels like Fort Lauderdale is so close to breaking through, but still lacking that clinical finish.
Still lacking that finish on that final third.
McCain. Taylor Smith. This takes a deflection towards McCain again. Pops it for Locklear. Oh, goodness. Cox looks like she's okay. Locklear is down as well.
Dangerous collision. Good ball by McCain, putting it bouncing right between the defenders and the goalkeeper, but terrible collision between Cox and Locklear.
It's hard to fault either player there. Locklear.
Her momentum was she was already going forward, so she couldn't stop. It was either try to jump, and I think that's exactly what Locklear tried to do. She tried to jump over her, but she didn't have the time.
Just an unfortunate timing for both. Locklear does pick up the yellow there. That yellow card is presented by Hicks and Funsin. Both players still being tended to at a Lexington goal. There's Addie McCain. Had a couple of scoring chances over the last few minutes. There she is, tied for 3rd in the Golden Boot race behind Mia Corbin and Allie Thornton. Jasmine Hamid right behind them as well, tied for 4th.
It's a team that can score. They're great individually. McCain this game hasn't shown much. She hasn't been as mobile as she was in previous games, but she has the abilities. She's quick. She has great field awareness that places her in those spots to make those goals.
Tyrone Mears watching on. If Addie McCain can put a little run together, they know that'll propel them to the postseason. If they're going to do anything, make the playoffs, make a run in the postseason, it's going to be with those two, Hamid and McCain, leading the way.
It's really just getting the ball to Hamid and her finding her click for her to be dangerous. And I think that's exactly what Mears said during our call. It's putting her in those places for her to be dangerous, and she hasn't found that click yet.
Off the throw. See everybody up and able to stay in the match. Both Locklear and Sarah Cox. Looked like it could have been a lot worse. Throw in here for Fort Lauderdale. Ill advised from Lexington, results in another throw in.
These moments are so crucial for Lexington to be able to connect those passes and those transitions and those counterattacks. That first, that second pass is so important to get out of pressure.
Thrown for Fort Lauderdale as trying to find Hamid making the run. She's had a quiet start to this second half. McNeil. Picked up into the air by Knox. And Cox comes out to grab. West 6 Brewing is a proud partner of the Lexington Sporting Club. With dynamic taproom locations all throughout the state of Kentucky, you can enjoy West 6 locally crafted your adventure.
I mean, Sarah Cox has had massive saves this season, and she's gotten better throughout the season. Her reaction, her anticipation really does help her, but what doesn't is that she doesn't have the assistance of her back line, where they don't have that connection yet.
This match closing in on 1 hour old. The own goal in the 17th minute still holding up for Fort Lauderdale. So they try and earn their first win since March 15th. Winless in their last 6 points below the playoff cut line.
We're now starting to see a Fort Lauderdale side that is moving. They're calling for the ball. You can hear it.
McNeil. That's to her right. Finds McCain. Knox. Play from behind. Knox a bit slow after that, but excellent defending from behind by Shea Moyer. There's that race for the final playoff spot. Brooklyn somehow, some way still in it, just 2 points behind Dallas, 3 behind third place Spokane. If this score holds, Fort Lauderdale will move back to within 3 points of Dallas. And they've got a match against them coming up on May 24th.
It's incredible how the Spokane side, they were in sixth place a few weeks ago, and now they're high up on the table, and it really shows that they've come together as a team. But they started finding form towards the end of the season. Perfect timing.
Good news for them is that
DC side that's already eliminated, so their level just automatically goes down, and that's where maturity really comes into play with these teams.
Dallas learned the hard way against DC on the road, jumped out to a 2-0 lead, ended up conceding 3 unanswered in the second half.
And that's when details really come into play in a team's maturity, because if you're up 2-0 and you're playing a team against a team that is already eliminated, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a weak team. It's
right.
Just they haven't found their identity necessarily.
DC had been putting together some really strong performances, giving a lot of these teams fits. It's a very competitive league. You'll hear that from every single coach when they talk about their opponents. Just feels like the way this match is going, if Fort Lauderdale can find one more, might be enough breathing room for them at this stage.
It would be enough breathing room, but you know that a goal is a goal, but the goal that was scored isn't enough.
Yeah.
This Fort Lauderdale side needs to be scoring goals that are clear goals from their forwards. And it's something that is concerning. They need to work on that.
Fight forward in the midfield by Fort Lauderdale for the moment. Now Lexington able to start it back. Ball ahead is for nobody. Certainly has slowed down in this second half. That's a great ball. Can Hamid get there? No, she can't. It's over the touchline.
You can see that by that play with Gordon, she needs to keep running. She needs to run to the line. And this is where it comes in that I feel like bodies are tired. Something is happening that they're doing differently at this point in the season.
Lexington trying to threaten in the final third. Parsons towards goal. Goes wide and out for a goal kick. Fans, visit LexSporting.com to shop at the Lexington SC Team Store, your one-stop destination for all the latest LSC gear and official merchandise. From kits to scarves and hats, we've got everything you need to show off your club pride. That's LexSporting.com. Knox for Gordon from distance. That's wide.
A good look from Gordon. She looked up, takes that shot. These are the chances that I want to see.
Substitutions for Fort Lauderdale. Kiara Locklear is going to come out. Baucom will enter along with Tati Fung for Felicia Knox. Some good effort tonight from Locklear. Strong 65, 66 minutes of action tonight from her. And her night is over. She leaves with her team in front 1-0, and we'll see if Baucom or Fung can provide an extra lift here these final 25 minutes.
I think this is exactly what this Fort Lauderdale side needs. New legs, new energy on the field to see if they change the rhythm of the game.
Trying to protect this 1-0 advantage that came on an own goal in the 17th minute. Shot by Jasmine Hamid, deflected off of JJ Albiu. That whole play was started by Kiara Locklear. 2 shots blocked, she stayed on it, fed it out in front. Doyle, watched by Gordon. That's intercepted by Fort Lauderdale. Now Addie McCain wants to start it the other way. Baucom in a race. She's cut off well by Albiu. But Albiu gave it away to McNeil. McNeil gave it right back. Doyle again. The Arkansas product yet to contribute on the score sheet this season. Wisniewski for White. Now wide again, Doyle.
Good combination play by this Lexington side. And I think this is the most I've seen them combine passes throughout this game.
There's a foul there.
Attention fans, this is your last call for
69th minute here in Lexington, 1-0 to Fort Lauderdale. Josh Appel, Chelsea Kabarkis with you as Fort Lauderdale looks to earn 3 points tonight for the first time since March 15th, keep their playoff hopes alive. 3 points tonight does pull them within 3 of that fourth and final playoff spot. Hansbrough gets it, back in play. The opportunities that Fort Lauderdale was able to put together in the first half, it dried up a bit here.
Since you can notice that their center backs are not comfortable driving at Lexington's midfield when they have space. Take the space that's in front of you. When center backs run with the ball and they're running with pace at the center mids, it kind of disrupts the opponent because they don't know where the center back is going.
See if that disruption leads to an insurance goal. Along the touchline, last touch by Fort Lauderdale, and it's a throw-in to Lexington. Mackin looking for options, gets it in to Parsons. Mackin back on it, heads it forward, but there for
Enough movement, and I feel as if Lexington needs to have better field awareness when they receive the ball. Look around, kind of just glance over your shoulder to see if you have a defender on you so that you can take that extra touch. Be comfortable on the ball, have composure.
Oh, taken away by Addie McCain. Could this be the moment for Fort Lauderdale? And the shot from Tati Fung never got all the way through. It was deflected. And it'll be an opportunity for Sarah Cox to put it back in play. Less than 20 minutes to go here at Lexington. Fort Lauderdale trying to hang on. Trying to spring Hamid. She's in a race with Mackin, and Hamid wins it. Jasmine Hamid, 9 goals on the season. Back heel for Addie McCain. Hamid again. Hamid tees it up. Good attempt.
Good strike by
him. Take a
him.
Deflection, and it'll be a corner.
Good strike by Hamid, taking those chances. If she would have put her body a little bit over the ball and hit that ball with power, it would have just gone straight into that corner.
Fortunately for her, though, Fort Lauderdale will have a shot at a corner. Rajay will take it, sends it into the area, comes down top of the 18, and Fung just hit it, sends it all the way up and out of play. As Lexington will make a trio of substitutions. Maite Lopez will enter for Maddie Parsons up top. Courtney Jones will replace Grace Wisniewski. And Madison Perez's night ends. Alicia Laramie comes on for her. So Laramie, Jones, and Lopez in for Lexington, trying to give them a spark here. These final 17 minutes. Trying to play spoiler.
14, Maite Lopez Miranda replacing number 15, Maddie Parsons.
It's also great that this Lexington side is doing this because they need the fresh legs. Maybe they need a change of rhythm, a change of pace. Give a little bit more pop to this game. because right now this Lexington side is looking static.
Lauderdale has been unable to take advantage of that. Foul given here goes against Fort Lauderdale. The next home match for Lexington SC women's team is Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m. when they take on DC Power. Lexington SC will celebrate the women's finale with a pre-match concert presented by the Burl, and the first 1,000 fans receive an LSC bucket hat. Celebrate the beginning of summer with Lexington SC and visit lexsporting.com to purchase your tickets now. That's lexsporting.com. In the direction of Mike Lopez, third.
A good bump by Balcom, and she was using her body. I don't necessarily think it was a foul. It's just her letting them know, hey, I'm here.
Lexington building up. Maite Lopez stonewalled at the edge of the 18. Good defensive work by Fort Lauderdale. They've been strong in the defending the final third tonight as Hamid. Over the top for Balcom. Can she get there first? No. Well done by Laramie. Close the angle. Gets around Balcom. And Balcom wins it back.
These are movements that I would like to see from Balcom. I mean, she worked so hard to get this ball back. You win the ball back, pass it, and move. Move into that transition because now you're attacking.
Whistle blows. This goes in favor of Lexington. Nabil Ben Salah's had a quiet night. In by Fort Lauderdale. Balcom trying to settle it down. Immediately out for a Lexington throw-in. Lexington find the equalizer. On that build-up, Hamid tracks it down.
Really good battle by Moore, getting up the field, trying to attack the lines, trying to attack that space.
The throw coming for Fort Lauderdale. Goal in the 17th minute. It was an own goal off of J.J. Albiu.
I'm really liking the composure that Rajay has been playing in that midfield, holding.
This is a bad giveaway. Here comes Lexington. In transition. Doyle to the outside, Lopez. Shields off Brooks, Lopez. Trying to get it over to White, unable to, and then the foul comes. The whistle blows on Courtney Jones. You can stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. So Fort Lauderdale, after tonight, they had trying to get around Brooks, puts it in front. That was actually Brooks who cleared it away. Gordon was watching Jones around the edge.
Since Jones has came into the match, he's added a little bit more pop to this Lexington side by attacking the line, attacking the space. It's as if she's eager. She wants to score. She wants to see a result.
Richardson, hounded, loses it, but it comes out for Mackin, puts into the penalty area. Last touch by Lexington and out for a goal kick. Little over 10 minutes to go. Fort Lauderdale trying to end that winless drought and earn their first victory since March 15th. You can stay informed about all things Super League. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for the latest information, analysis, and insight into the league. Ten minutes to play. Looking in the direction of Annie McCain, and that deflects out for a Fort Lauderdale corner.
The idea is there from the Fort Lauderdale side. They want to get those balls in behind. And I see it, but they need to be a little bit more proactive with their movements.
Be a big opportunity for some insurance. Rajay, who's had a strong night, will take it. The delivery comes in. McCain got a head on it. It's out in front, but Hansborough couldn't get to it. And it goes on the right side of that corner flag.
What a
for another chance.
What a great delivery by Rajay. I mean, she's been doing great this entire game. This is when they need to finish. They need to be proactive. They need to be in those spots and be aggressive on and off the ball in the air.
Towards the back post this time. Hamid got a piece, but sent it over the bar.
An incredible service once again. You can tell by the frustration of Hamid. She just hits it so lovely into that back post, into that spot, that perfect spot that every forward wants. And you can see the frustration on Hamid's face.
First real chance. He did have the. I do wonder if a performance like this, if Fort Lauderdale do indeed hang on, if it'll alleviate some of the concerns that Tyrone Mears had coming into this match. Of course, I'm sure he'll be happy with the 3 points, but he wanted to see his team be more ruthless in front of goal. I'm not sure he saw that tonight, at least to this point.
A point is points are points. A goal is a goal. But I don't necessarily think that he is seeing the performance that he wants to see tonight.
I would imagine he'll be happy with the defensive work from his club, but again, this is a Lexington team that have conceded the most in Super League this year. Richardson, the cross. Headed over the line by Brooks. Good positioning, and it's out for a corner to Lexington.
Dangerous spot where Richardson serviced that ball. Brooks did a great job by clearing it.
Substitution for Lexington SC in the 83rd minute. Number 7, Nayoung Shin replacing number 16.
Nayoung Shin comes in for Mackin.
It's a Commonwealth Credit Union corner kick.
Commonwealth Credit Union corner kick coming. Final minutes here in Lexington. Libby Moore will take it. Lexington did get a piece, stays alive for them. Moore again. Delivers into the box. Sitting there in front. The shot towards goal was deflected, and Morshea off her line grabs it. Sweaty moments there for Fort Lauderdale.
Unfortunate moment for Maite. A great ball. A great ball by Moyer. Serving it in. And Maite was ready, but just didn't get her body on it quite how she wanted it. So that's why the ball didn't go in with power.
Maite Lopez, a young player, someone who could develop into a special one here for Lexington.
Substitution for Fort Lauderdale United.
Fort Lauderdale is going to make a substitution. Cheyenne Allen will enter for Jasmine Hamid here in the 85th minute. Time winding down for Lexington. Fort Lauderdale trying to close this one out.
At this moment, you can see the frustration on Hamid's face. It's as if she didn't play well. She's getting frustrated because she's not getting the goals that she wants. She's putting in that effort, but she's not getting in those goals. I mean, it's great that Fort Lauderdale is rotating that line because they need results. They need to finish this game with a W.
Richardson, long ball over the top, but nobody able to catch up to it. Look how far Morshea was off her line. Able to clear it away. Richardson on it. McNeil lays it ahead. Cheyenne Allen, but she was offside. The flag came up. Sarah Cox, she's made a few big saves tonight. Could have been a lot more in favor of Fort Lauderdale in the first half, if not for her performance. Throw in for Lexington. Allen could not corral. Not for another throw. You can feel that sense of urgency starting to pick up a bit for Lexington. Doyle battling with Brooks. Brooks wins it. Lays it back for her keeper. Morshea. Allen. Tries to keep it in, but unable to. And now another sub. In a moment for Fort Lauderdale.
I really can't get over how tired this Fort Lauderdale side looks. I'm so used to seeing them physical, moving, anticipating plays. And you're just really seeing a static team right now.
Try to find Balcom, but it comes for Cox, who leaves it out there for Courtney Jones.
Balcom has done a great job up there by being physical. She has that toughness on her and that physicality where she just kind of nudges a player, a defender, to get them off the ball.
Fung goes down. Nabil Ben-Salah says no. Richardson, can she keep it in? She does. Hannah Richardson. McNeil, excellent job.
Did not happen. McNeil did a great job by keeping her in front of her, nudging her off the ball, but never give your back to the ball. The ball, it's not over. It's not over until it goes out of bounds, and not even when it goes out of bounds, you're done with your job.
Fort Lauderdale fortunate there. So they make one more substitution. Komani comes in for Taylor Smith for this throw-in for Lexington. Off the throw. Kamani lost it. Good support, though, by Fort Lauderdale, and they get the clear. Find out just how much added time we get. Final 30 seconds of regulation. Do Lexington have the equalizer in them, or will Fort Lauderdale end their 6-match winless streak and earn their first win since March 15th and pull within 3 points of the playoff cut line? Stepping in front of that was McNeil, tried to get it to Balkum. Young.
You're now starting to see a sense of urgency on this Lexington side to get the ball forward. And there's possibly 3 minutes left. And there is that possibility to get a goal.
Yellow will come
Ladies
out.
and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated there will
as
be
we
a
get 3
minimum
minutes of
20
added time.
Of added time in the second half.
One more look at what drew the yellow.
Tough tackle by Hansbrough. Not necessarily going for the ball, so it was a clear foul. Not the place or the time to make that foul.
A Hickson-Funson yellow card has been issued by the referee to Fort Lauderdale United.
It's a Hickson-Funson yellow
in the 91st
for Hansbrough.
28, Laurel and Proud.
And an opportunity from a great location on this set piece.
This is their chance. They're good at set pieces.
Here comes the delivery into the area, out in front, and just comes wide. Brooks has come up with a few massive clearances today, but it will be another corner.
It's a
Commonwealth Credit Union corner kick for Lexington. They've had a ton of those tonight.
Extremely close, and that's a dangerous place to even have that free kick in that set piece. And like I had mentioned before,
Libby Moore towards goal. Morshea standing tall above the pack.
this is when IQ really comes into play. A good ball by Moore. And Morshea just coming out with that security to go ahead and cover that ball.
Time running out for Lexington. Fung on it for Fort Lauderdale. Out for a throw. About 1 minute left. Kamani off the throw in. Receives it back. Fort Lauderdale trying to kill this clock. Doing a good job of it.
And this is when the player IQ really comes into play, knowing when to kill time, pass the ball around, switch the ball sides.
Ball come into the corner. Jones watching her. And the foul will come in favor of Fort Lauderdale, and they'll have a free kick here in the final seconds. Pseudo corner. I can't imagine Fort Lauderdale will risk anything. We'll just get it back in play and wait for that final whistle. McCain, who else? Battling in the corner. Jones wins it. And another yellow comes out. So McCain picks up the Hickson-Funson yellow. Nabil Ben-Salah looks at his watch.
These are the moments that McCain needs to be smart as a captain. Needs to play smart, knowing that she can't get a yellow card. It's just, let's just kill time.
Baucom drags to the corner. Battle of the nines. And there is the final whistle. Fort Lauderdale at long last for the first time since March 15th. They're in the win column. 1-0 the final here against Lexington.
A great confidence booster for this Fort Lauderdale side. It's not the ideal goal, but they did get that goal in. They were able to move the ball around. They were able to be creative in that final third. But I would like to see a lot more composure for them on the final third of the field. On this Lexington side, I mean, they just don't do a good job rotating in the midfield, and that's where they lack a lot. When Jones came in, it really changed the rhythm of the game and the pace, and it put a little bit of more oomph to the game, I want to say.
So the own goal in the 17th minute, the only goal tonight. It holds up for all 90. It's another clean sheet for Fort Lauderdale. They win it 1-0. Back with more after this.
As they could for me.
Cassette, 3 games left in the season. How do you build off of this one and close out strong?
You know, I think this win obviously was really important as a team. It was a team win. We're going to move forward and have smiles on our faces and be ready for the next game and take it game by game.
Cassette Morche, winning goalkeeper tonight for Fort Lauderdale. Thanks so much for your time. Safe travels back home. Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's take a look at our match highlights tonight. The only goal coming in the first half, but Lexington had their best threats in that opening half.
I mean, best threats. Look at that service into the box by Perez. She's always going to be dangerous. If Moyer would have held her run a little bit, but maybe by half a second, she would have hit the ball with momentum, which would have made it a huge difference.
And here was the only goal of the night. Great persistence from Kiara Locklear. She feeds it across. Hamid gets it on goal. A great save by Cox, but then it deflects in off of Albiu.
This is what happens when you're persistent. Locklear stayed in that play, attacked the line, and went ahead and passed that ball into the 6. A good job by Hamid by just staying in tune with that play and being relentless, trying to get that ball in.
38th minute. It was Locklear again. Great chance, but a better save by Cox.
Locklear attacked that space once again. She opened her body. She made that connection. But, I mean, I would have liked to see a little bit more power and composure behind the ball.
In the 82nd minute, Fort Lauderdale looking for some insurance. Jasmine Hamid put this one just a bit high.
Jasmine Hamid, I mean, she had plenty of chances in this game, and you can just see the frustration, maybe by holding her run a little bit more.
And that was the last chance of the night for Lexington off the corner. Cassette Morche fittingly the last one to touch it there. So here are the standings up to the minute. Fort Lauderdale off the schneid. They are in their 10th win of the season. now just 3 points back of Dallas for that final playoff spot. They will play Dallas in one of their final matches of the year.
And anything can happen when they play that Dallas team. I mean, if they get it together and they're able to connect in that final third, maybe come out a little bit less tired, because I feel like I just saw tired legs on the field.